Hello everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is, golly, I don't even know. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday, Eastern Time, and that means it's time for a Facebook Live video. Give me 1 second to do a quick refresh over here to be sure I'm actually transmitilating out on the interwebs, because otherwise, really? Is there a point? Oh, that's not looking good. That is not looking good for the home team. I wonder if I'm in the wrong spot. Nope, I'm good. Oh, whew, what a relief. I was worried there for a minute. No telling who I might have been sharing that with. And I see some folks are coming on, so that is cool. So here's my card, and it has a lot of color. It's very colorful, which is perfect for spring. I've used a new set to me called Bragworthy. This is all sentiments, and I really think it's cute. Don't know why it took me so long, but it's got some really great sentiments on it, which are fun. I've got, look at you doing grown-up things and stuff. Your friendship is as bragworthy as a dress with pockets. I particularly like this one. 1 minute you're young and cool, and the next you're getting excited over new towels for your birthday. So this is a total aside. Hi everybody, glad you're coming on. Appreciate you joining me. Have you seen that thing on Facebook where it says 1 minute you're young and fun, and the next you're turning down the radio in the car so you can see better? I know, I did not. My husband did that for the longest time, and I've recently discovered myself doing it. It really helps. I don't know why. You can actually see better when the radio's turned down. Don't understand. All right, and then this one I like. I'm here for you. Seriously, try to get rid of me. Just try. I like that one a lot. Okay, so that's the main sentiment set. Actually, it's the only sentiment set. And then I borrowed a couple of little stars from the Your Biggest Fan. And kind of the star of the show, other than the Flowering Fields DSP, is the Ornate Frames dies, which is retiring with the end of this annual catalog, and it is on sale right now for 20% off. You can get it for $27.20. It's regular $34. And it's got a bunch of nice dies. It's got one more than this, but I've got it set aside to show you something on. So it comes with 11 dies. Kind of a nice deal. Get it while it's gone. It's all while supplies last. All right, so you can see my card here, and you'll be glad to know I've done some pre-cutting. And so let's go ahead and get started. All these measurements will be on my blog tomorrow, so you do not even need to write them down. Hi, Jean and Linda and Danette and Angie and Pam and Marva and Joyce and everybody. Appreciate you guys coming. All right, let me see. Let me get everything kind of situated here. Okie dokie. All right, we're going to start with a Mango Melody card base, 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to take a piece of Poppy Parade paper from the Flowering Fields DSP, and I'm going to adhere it to the front of this card base. Okay? Hi, Alicia. And I'm going to do that with some liquid glue. Well, I got myself all verklempt last night worrying about the weather coming in, because of course I mean, it was a huge red line, and people west of us definitely got slammed. And the way that my weather app and the TV weather was showing, it was going to really come through at about 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, maybe 5, and be kind of bad. And so I was a little bit worried. Fortunately, it was late enough. It was going to be, early enough in the morning that I went to sleep, which is good, because guess how much came? Yeah, like rain. That is all. I didn't even hear one peal of thunder, not even one. And I can assure you that when I think there's weather coming, I'm sleeping pretty light waiting for it, because it scares me, and I'm not proud to admit that, but it does. And so I was prepared to lose sleep. Hi, Carol. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry you're feeling bad. Hopefully this will cheer you up. It's a bright, sunny picture. It's not a picture. This isn't a picture. It's a card. Okay, so I got a little bit jiggy over here, so I'm just going to trim this on my trimmer. Remember, it's paper, people. Make it do what you want it to do. Don't be scared of it. And sometimes it's not always the exactly easiest thing, so I'm just going to stick it in my trimmer, put the left side at 5 1/2, because I know that's how big. I've got glue on my fingers. Glue on my fingers and bells on my toes. I'm pretty sure that's a song. If it's not, it should be. And then I'm just going to cut that off. I'll have a much easier time doing it with the cutting blade. Might ought to go that way. I think I'll go that way with it. There we go. So I'll just do that again. Pretend I didn't do that first one, because it was a high fail. All right. So there we go. That should be fine. Perfect. All right, so we'll set that aside. Oh, yeah. See, we had wind. It felt like we had wind at the beginning, but nothing like I was expecting. I mean, we put everything away. We were putting the plants where they'd be protected. I pushed all my little seedlings back against the barn under the porch so that they wouldn't be a problem. We moved the gardenias. We bought a couple of tree gardenias, a week or so ago, and got them planted, and I was afraid they would fall over. So we did all of this prepping, and nothing happened. And God, no, please, God, don't make me have to do it, because you think I'm complaining, because I am so not. I'm really, really grateful. I suppose, Alicia, I need to fix a spot that I could sleep in the basement, because then I could just not worry about it. I would just have to worry about the horses and all that. But, there really is only so much you can control at one time, right? So I can't sleep in the basement. So my theory is, I've come to this conclusion, and it's not at all feminist and it's not at all progressive, but I figure as long as Wayne's around, whatever happens, if it happens, we can fix it. So obviously, if he wasn't around, I would fix it, but he is, and so that's kind of part of the dealio, right? Is that you can feel safe when they're around. Of course, he just looks at the news, sees, oh yeah, it's coming, it's going to be bad. Be sure to be prepared with your safety emergency place. And he goes to sleep and starts snoring. And I lay there like, what's going on? Because I'm a goober. Okay, so using the Ornate frames die, did you see what I did here? I totally just yacked my way through doing this. I have another piece of the Flowering Fields DSP, sorry, and I adhered it on a piece of Granny Apple Green and then stuck it to the card front. Okay, so that's what I was doing while I was busy yakking about storms. Sorry. Okay, now I took this little die right here from Ornate Frames, and I cut 3 of the same DSP out with it. And then I also used this die to cut 3 frames from Granny Apple Green. Now I wanted to tell you a little bit about this die right here. This is a very intricate die. You can see how it is. And it cuts pretty good, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Run it through your embossing machine. Hang on a second. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Hang on a minute. Hang on. We'll use my mini as a demonstrator. Hey, you know what? This is the last day you can get the mini for 20% off. So just saying. When you run this through, I recommend that you run it on the side and going this direction and against the rollers. So, the rollers are mostly on the sides of your cutter, especially on the big one. So roll it towards the side and go back and forth. And I'd do it 3 or 4 times with this one. Can you get it out without doing it 3 or 4 times? Yes. Is it way, way, way easier to get it out doing it 3 or 4 or even 6 times? Absolutely. So the more times you run these intricate dies through, the better. And I usually run forward and back, so that changes it up. Then I would take my brush tool, either an older one like this one, which still works fine, or the tip on a take your pick tool. And while your die cut is still in the die, hold it over your garbage and just roll the edges where those die pieces are, okay? And then turn it over and look to see if you've got any hanger-uppers. And if you do, try to get them out before you pull the die out of the set. And here's why. There's 2 reasons. First of all, it helps protect it because these are kind of delicate. Okay, that's kind of delicate. And so if you've pulled it out and you're rolling this on it, it can be a little bit invasive. The other reason is if you see one that's just being stubborn as all get out, if you've left it in the die, you can stick it back in the cutter, okay, and give it another go. That way, you have a better chance of getting it out. The brush is also quite good when you're ready to push it out to give it a little roll like that, and out it pops. Okay, so that's just some tips, and that's good really for any of the really intricate dies that we have. They cut very well, but they are intricate, and so there's a lot of stuff that needs to come out, and it'll help you if you have a few tips. And now I've talked a little too much with the ginormous pollen count in the air, so let me get a swig here. My pond is covered in yellow. My horses have snotty yellow noses, and I'm sure they're not nearly as miserable as I am for them, but I hate seeing it. It makes me feel bad for them. Okay, so what I did here, and I'm going to show you, I took my Garden Green Stampin' Right marker, the fine tip end, and I added some stitches, just faux stitches. Now, if anybody looks at these stitches and is like, my goodness, those are just not very straight or very professional, I would just tell them, yes, but they look exactly like how my stitches do if I attempt to sew something and hand stitch it. So I am just, you know, fiction mirrors reality. Also, if anybody looks that close, well, shame on them. Tell them to go get a Hallmark card. That's all I'm going to say about that. So I'm just following the edge and making little tiny dashes, which when you do it like this, they change from dashes to stitches. Easy, right? Done. Okay, now we'll go ahead and use some liquid glue and adhere these. Yes, intricate plus annoying sometimes, yes. But I always just remind myself of how pretty they're going to be when I'm done fussing with them. And then I think, would you rather have to fussy cut it? And I think, why no, I would not. Even fussy cutting, as much as I enjoy, I really don't even want to fussy cut the edges of this. So yeah, I'm good with that. Now I'm just going to take those same die cuts and I'm going to adhere them to my Granny Apple Green frames with liquid glue. You obviously can use Stampin' Seal. I've had this discussion many times. You know I'm a liquid glue girl. So you do the adhesive that makes you the happiest. I can attest to the fact that either one will work just fine. Just fine. Finer than a frog's hair. You know, I don't actually think frogs have hair. I think that's fake news. Okay. Now I am going to put on the backs of these, I'm going to put dimensionales. Like so. These are dimensionals from Rome. That's why I'm calling them dimensionales. I just made that up. Of course they're not from Rome. They're from Dimensional Town, USA, which I don't know where that is. Now, usually I would tell you when you're going to space 3 things across like this, I would tell you to put the middle one on first. But in this case, I know that I am spreading them all the way out, and it's already kind of a minimal thing. I've only got as much space as I need, right? There's not like extra space. So what I recommend that you do on this one is put your 2 ends on first, and you're going to, also, you've got a distinct up-down on this. Make sure you put it right side up and wrong side down, okay? And so then I'm just taking the edge of this die and I'm going to put it, you know, a smidge, that's a technical term, a smidge off of the edge and try to make it as straight as I can. And then just kind of center it up and down like that. Hello, Vicki. Windy, North Carolina. Yeah, the wind is starting to pick up here a little bit. Apparently that's the way wind works. We get a big storm come and then there's wind afterwards. I don't know. I guess that's just how it works. Seems to be that way all the time here. But it's nice because it has knocked the pollen down a little bit. Okay, so once again, I'm going to just kind of try to get that much space between the die cut and the edge of the cardstock, and then centered top to bottom, and as straight as I can be. So that's like 3 things at once. Whew, that's not easy, and that wasn't good. So don't stick it right down. Give yourself a second to be sure you've got it right. And the center to top and bottom was the part I had off there. So I'm going to center it again. I'm going to center it again. See, if you just keep saying it, Mary, then it works, right? Okay, there we go. I'll take that for $1 out. Yeah, that's pretty close. Actually, that's not close. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. It was 1/2 millimeter off, and my rocket building husband would just be like, oh my gosh, Mary. So we put up this giant trellis in the garden. I mean, like it's giant, like you have to get on a 6-foot ladder to reach the top of it. And it's going to be for our tomatoes. We're trying a new trellising method this year. And he was killing me. He's like making sure that it's plumb and level to within like a hair in the level. And I'm like, dude, nobody can tell up there if it's not quite exactly level. He's like, oh, I can. Oh, I can. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to go look at it up off of the hill. And he goes up and he looks. He goes, oh, no. I got to fix that. It's not plumb. So he about half takes it down to fix it. You're killing me, man. You're just killing me. Alrighty. And so then on this third one, we're just going to split the difference between the first two and center it up and down. Okay, just like that, like that, like that, like that. Hey, Teresa, ooh, blueberry scones, lemon blueberry scones, even better, even better. That sounds yummy. Now, full disclosure, you can have the tea. It's all you, but the lemon blueberry scones will work. Okay, now I have a label, and this is from the Bragworthy sentiment set, and I've stamped it in Poppy Parade on white, cut it with the same shape die as these DSPs, and given it the garden green look. And as I look at this, it looks like a Krispy Kreme box. all of a sudden I'm like, that looks like a Krispy Kreme box. Or no, there's some ice cream. Maybe it's ice cream. There's something that this is reminding me of right now. But regardless, we're going to go ahead. It's going to be on the front of our card, and it's going to be like this. But I'm going to use a little bit of a ribbon treatment. So I have some of the white crinkle paper, and I don't want it or ribbon. I don't want it to be white. I want it to be Poppy Parade. So I have my light Poppy Parade Stampin' Blend. And again, I'm going to get inky, but it's okay because that's how we roll, right? And I'm just pulling the ribbon through between my thumb and that marker to give it a little more color. Well, like any color would be good because it's not this. So this means that this crinkle ribbon can also be any color that you have a blend for. Stampin' Up! We want a blend for everything. Just saying. All right. And it also gives you the added advantage of, I don't know about you guys, but I sometimes discover with this crinkle paper, hi Denise, that it's a little staticky. And so that makes it a little harder to work with. But when you give it a treatment with some Stampin' Blends, then all of a sudden, it's not so staticky. And just tie a bow, as good a bow as you can tie. Probably want to do the rabbit ears with this. Now we're going to see how my fingers don't work so good. I usually try not to do a whole lot of ribbon tying of bows on camera because I'm not good at it. It becomes very ugly, and it's quite obvious that I am a bow tying neophyte. I could pull out my bow easy, but that seems like cheating all of a sudden, so I'm not gonna do it. Okay, so we'll pull that down. Okay, we're just making it look sort of like halfway good because it's going to be kind of hidden. But see, isn't that fun that you can have Poppy Parade ribbon when there isn't any? So it's going to go right about there, like that. So I'll use a glue dot for that. Hello, Vicky. I know, right? It's like, dude, think how easy the gate would close if instead of a 32nd of an inch clearance, it had, all the way up to a 16th of an inch. Ooh. Yeah. No, Mary. No. It needs to fit tight. Okay. Well, it does, and I can't open it or close it. But that's okay. It's tight. Okay. All right. So we're just using a glue dot to adhere that. And then I'll, see, I've left my little tail doohickeys loose for a second. And then this is going to go over the top, and I'm going to use my normal double dimensionals to make that happen because I can. But I want to be sure that I'm not going too far out. I am not. Take these lids off. One time I put the second stack on, the second one on, and I hadn't pulled the lid off, and that was not really my best plan. Didn't work so good. All right, and then we got some more of these little buggers. Some more buggers right here. Buggers, little buggers. And we'll take this off. The top cover of the top dimensional, of the top dog, of the top pick. Okay, and then we'll try to make it kind of straight Ooh, will it be straight? Yes, it's straight. That's pretty straight. I think it looks pretty straight. Now, there's nothing underneath this section, and that's okay. If you want to, you can slide a second stack under, and I'll go ahead and show you how I do that, because doing it after the fact is sometimes easier than before the fact. Pre-fact versus post-fact. Yes, so if you do it post-facto, it's a little easier. So there we go. Now, one more thing. I was going to use... Wait a minute. Where did they go? Oh, over here. I was going to use the Waves rhinestones. And if you've got a pack of the Waves basic rhinestones, there's Granny Apple Green rhinestones on there. But if you don't, and they're already gone, I'm really sorry. Really sorry. You can take a regular pack of rhinestones and use your dark Granny Apple Green Stampin' Blend and color you up. I'm going to color a medium and a couple of littles. So once again, you can have any color rhinestone that you've got Stampin' Blends for. Just saying. As if you didn't love Stampin' Blends enough already, that's another reason to love them. And have one of every color. And until and unless we have one of every color, you should at least have one of every color we make. Just saying. All right, and we'll put another one right about there. And that's that, except let's go ahead and trim these little tails with our scissors, like so. And yes, I do have to turn my card so that I'm going the right direction, so that I get the right orientation of the whatchamacallit. And there's our card front. Boom. Now, for the innards, I'm going to stamp another sentiment. This one again from the Bragworthy set. Now, you could do two things here. You could use your Stamparatus and use the ink, the marker to rubber technique and color just the words in Poppy Parade and the stars in Mango Melody, or as I've used here, you're going to see Bumblebee. But I decided to play around a little bit and do something a little different. So first, let's stamp this up regular. Man, the pollen is apparently kicking my butt. Okay. So this is the first time I've used this set, and I recommend this even if you've done it multiple times. I've told you many times why I do this, but it's worth repeating. You want to see that your stamp is going to stamp straight, because just because this is straight doesn't mean the stamp is straight. It may be engraved on there wrong, or you may have done a not so great job putting the sticker on. So you want to see what that looks like each time. And then I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm not going to rock. Don't rock the boat, baby. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. There we go. I think that's straight enough. So we'll stamp like that. And you just wanted to hold it down for a few beats to let the ink really transfer and make sure you get a good image. Now, I am going to take the resin stars, and I'm going to put, now on my first one, I did the big ones. On this one, I'm going to do the little ones, and we'll decide which one we like better. How about that? So I'm just putting these right over the top of my stamped stars. Hopefully I didn't just yank the glue dot off of that. Nope, doesn't look like I did. And about the only hard part here is making sure that it kind of covers the stars. Depends on how much you care about that. But I kind of care. I don't care if it'll go to the moon. I don't care if the gate is a little loose, but I do care if these are covered completely. So, you know, if you want to get a little bit head up about it, you can. There we go. Stay. Stay. Get back in line, Mr. Star. You know, glue dots, and that's really all that's on the back of these, they have like a little tiny grace period. It's like they go, okay, you've got a few seconds to mess with me, or you've got a few seconds in which if you touch me wrong, I'm going to turn. And then they go, okay, if you really, really mean it, I guess I'll stay. There we go. Hey, Christelle, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I have trouble with stickers sometimes myself. But they're so much better than the older ones are, and I really like having them on there because it's just so much easier to know what's right side up. I mean, I hardly ever put them on wrong side down. I just hardly ever do that. I do put them on crookedy, but at least I can sort of tell the right way. Okay, there we go. Now, let me just ask you, littles or big, which do you prefer? I don't know. They're both pretty cool. I kind of think I like the little better. So you can pick whichever one you want because either one of them is great. Hey, Jaretta, appreciate you joining. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my Granny Apple Green mat. Almost time for a new bottle of glue. And then we'll put it into our card base, which, as you might recall, was Mango Melody. So this is a really bright and cheery card. I love it. And it's all really thanks to the beautiful Flowering Fields DSP, which I love. Little stars. I think you're right. I do believe y'all are correct. Like there was a right or a wrong, but I agree with you. I should not try to put this in my sample. I should put it in the one that actually doesn't have an inside. Let's go with that, Mary. All right. Well, I'm going to leave. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to head out to Staples and get my brand new shiny catalog, bound and covered. Bound and covered. Did you guys, have you seen the cover of it? How pretty is that? Isn't that beautiful? I love that stamp set. Yeah. Do I have time? Yeah, absolutely. I will absolutely tell you about of cutting the dimensionals. Let's get through this and then we'll do that. All right, so now I'm going to decorate my envelope, and I am using this little stars image from the Your Best Fan stamp set. Remember, this is the one that's kind of the baseball theme for the guys, and it has a matching DSP called Hey Sports Fan, but all I've used on this from here is the stars because they were handy, and they were the first stars I found when I was going through my shelf. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp these a few times in Mango Melody, like so. Whatever looks good. There's no rhyme or reason or magic number. I will tell you that stamping them 3 times does leave you with 9 stars, which is an odd number. Now there's 9 on each side, which is 18, which is now a problem. But you know, here, wait, I have an idea. I'm going to do this. Just because. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. Don't mess with it, Mary. It's fine. Jeez. Okay. And then we'll put the Poppy Parade DSP on the envelope flap. On the envelope flap. Apparently the envelope is from Italy as well. Who knew? I love this paper. Poppy Parade is like really truly one of my favorite reds. I love it. It's just got enough orange in it to be really pretty. That one and Cherry Cobbler. Those are my 2 favorites. Real Red is my least favorite in the same way that Garden Green is my least favorite green. They both just seem too basic to me. That's just me. And if you're a fan of Real Red and or Garden Green, no offense meant. I just happen to like Poppy Parade and Cherry Cobbler. All right, so there we go. 2 little cards. I love the little Bragworthy set. It's got the funnest sentiments ever. Thanks for being the person I overthink things with, right? Great little sentiment step. So I hope you'll get that. All right, so now let's talk really quick. If you don't care about how to stamp or how to cut the dimensionals, see ya. If you want to know, then this is the time. Okay, this is a new pack of dimensionals. Now, I do not cut minis because nobody has the patience for that. And if I need to cut a mini, I do it when I need it, not just as a sheet like this. But when I open a stack of dimensionals now, a pack, I will absolutely cut them right away. And then I put the whole ones. You'll be fine, Paula. You'll figure it out. I promise. Always sign up for events because events almost always get a catalog early. If they coincide with a new catalog, they almost always the registration fee almost always includes the new catalog. Okay, now let's take a look at this. It looks like a honeycomb, and you can see there is a direction. You can see that if you hold it in this orientation, which is actually portrait, you've got a straight edge of the dimensionals running this way. If you hold it as landscape, you don't have a straight edge running across. You have the straight edge is vertical. All right. So I cut it with the straight edge horizontal, and I just cut right up the center with my paper snips like that. So I'm just dividing the ones that are with the horizontal across the way. So these, I'm cutting these in half. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. And then, so you do them all. Your very first strip, where's my very first strip? Here. The very first strip, this is a whole line of just one solid dimensional. You can leave it like that because sometimes you're going to have a time where you might want a little longer piece, but you can also just come right back and just snip like that. So snip at the little point, at the little mountains. You can snip right along, and then you're all ready when you are ready to use a dimensional set. Do I do this part all the time? No. I usually do it when I pick it up and realize that that's the strip that I'm at. Okay, so that's how I do it. You end up with this many strips and just go through them like crazy. All right, guys, I appreciate you, and I hope I will see you on Saturday. I have my on-tour event is Saturday from 12 to 3 my time. So if you need me in those times, I may be a little slow to answer, but it's all computer, it's all virtual, so I will get back to you ASAP. And at this point, I am still planning to go live at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. So I hope to see you then, and have a great rest of your week. See you on Saturday. Thanks. Ta.